Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Bourbon Basement. I'm Ryan,
And I'm Steve.
and today we're doing something a little bit different. Here recently in the Bourbon Basement, we actually just had our one of our quarterly tastings, I guess you'll call them.
Quarterly tastings with
We
the
get a
family.
bunch of the bourbon guys in the family down here, and do you want to tell them exactly what went into that, like how we got down to these 5 bottles out of everything? So
Yes.
give them a little bit of background about how we got down to these.
All right. So, of course, it's quarterly. So every 3 months we do this. This is the third tasting that we've had. And what I like to do, or what I did that was a little bit different this time, I wanted to make it difficult. I wanted to give them difficult
And it
choices.
was difficult.
So what I did is I took 50 of my premier bottles of bourbon,
50. We started with
50,
50.
50 premier bottles of bourbon, and I sectioned them off in 10 bottles. So Group A had 10, Group B had 10, all the way to E, which had 10.
And they
Okay.
were very well mixed
Now,
as far as price range goes.
exactly. And they weren't allowed to pick but one bottle out of each group. So they had to pick one out of Group A, which was 10, one out of Group B, one out of Group C.
It was
And
brutal.
that's how they did it. So, and I thought that was fun and funny because I knew they'd be struggling with some decisions.
It was brutal.
I know those guys, and I put several, 2 or 3 bottles that I knew they would probably want in the same group, so they only had to choose one
The
of
most
them.
aggravating thing ever.
And then, of course, when we decide and I pick the bottles or the lineup, they don't know what we're tasting. Uh, so out of 5 people and 50 bottles, we had 21 bottles that were chosen. So only one, well, what's that? 3 bottles were chosen more than once by more than one person. So we had a wide variety. So I got it down to 21. Now, did give them a teaser, and I showed them the 21 bottles that I was going to choose from their tasting. And I thought that was the greatest thing. I thought that they were gonna have it, and they had all that hard decisions, and now I was gonna have the easy and the fun part. Well, it actually made it real difficult for me. So I went through. I changed my tasting 3 times from that night, and actually the night before the tasting,
He
I
changed it
changed it
again.
again to this. And so what I like to do is have a kind of theme for the tasting out of the ones that they chose. And I couldn't really do it this time. I had certain bottles that I thought, yeah, that's going to be a good one to taste. Blanton's Gold was in there at one time. Uh, there was stuff like that, but it didn't work out
Was the
for me.
single barrel in there? The
I think
Blanton's?
the no single barrel
It
wasn't
didn't make the cut.
the Blanton's Gold was the only one that got chosen, but there was like I say, several allocated bottles of bourbon,
Lots.
uh, several expensive bottles down to maybe like 70. This was the expensive tasting, and then the so last tasting we did like a bottled in bond.
Yeah.
It was like
That was the
everything
theme.
everything was 100 proof, and my theme was bottled in bond. And so this tasting, I went through 2 or 3 different ones. Like I said, I couldn't find a title. So at the last minute, I changed it to these 5 bottles. 5 people, each one bottle. I think I had one person get 2 choices in here.
Whack.
So one person got 2 choices. Uh, but these 5 bottles were the choice. And the reason is because they're all from different distilleries. So one from Group A, B, C, D, and E. They're all from different distilleries. So this was a distillery battle. So that's how we come up with these 5 bottles.
So the fact that we had to choose one out of every group was brutal enough. And then he teased us, thinking that we getting our hopes up for some of the bottles that we had up there, and uh, I only got one, of course. You only got one up here, and then like you said, so one person got multiple.
So what was your choice out of these? Because this was my choice to be in the tasting.
This was my choice,
Okay.
the Mattingly.
Now, so we won't say who won yet. Let's tell them about the 5 bottles that were in the tasting, what distillery they were from. We don't have to tell them who picked it or nothing, but
Well, just to put this out there, not one of them was bad.
they were all very
They were
good,
all very good, and
and the
every
scoring
one of
was
them,
very close.
every one that we had to choose from was a good bourbon. Like even all 50 of them, to choose one per group that he had, it was nearly impossible. Uh, Pretty confident in my picks. I went through them pretty quickly just because I picked ones that I had been looking forward to try, uh, not necessarily that I had had before. So my choices were fairly easy, but I did still only get one up here. And like I said, this was my choice that actually made it into the drawing. So where do you want to start here?
Let's just start. I'll go left to right or right to left on the screen there. But this one here, it's the Michter's Barrel Strength. It's a allocated bottle. We picked it up on my birthday in Louisville at the distillery. And at the distillery, it run about $130, I guess, 120 to 130. I don't know. It came with the Michter's Kentucky straight bourbon, the normal one you find the US one. That's about a $40 bottle. This was almost 190. So maybe this was about 150 bucks. That's after taxes though. So Michter's
God, I
Barrel
hate
Proof.
tax.
Now, you all can comment which one you think won, because out of all
Yeah,
these.
I see some viewers tuning in here. Drop a comment,
So
guys. Take some guesses.
this is the Wild Turkey, uh, 70th Jimmy Russell's 70th anniversary, and it's an 8-year-old bourbon. This one here was ranked number 7 in
Is it
Whiskey
in?
Advocate
Can you
magazine.
hand us that behind you?
Yeah, so it was ranked number 7th, I think, in Whiskey Advocate magazine's best whiskey of the year. This is a bourbon, but a bourbon is a whiskey. Number 7th, but it was actually the second Kentucky bourbon that was in there. Uh, Maybe it was number 6, but the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass was one ahead of it. So it was the first Kentucky bourbon. This was the second Kentucky bourbon in there. Uh, Honestly, I won this one at the auction. I don't know what MSRP is. You may have a comment.
Do. Uh, no sales tax here. Where is that at? Because I need to make a trip. So we have no sales tax where he's from.
Is it Tennessee?
We need to make a trip. Because sales tax, it's what 6% in
6
Kentucky,
here, yep.
6 here, but still, I mean, it's high.
12 in Tennessee, 12 for us in Tennessee. I think
Montana,
it's 12 for us in
no
Tennessee
sales tax in
because,
Montana.
well, Tennessee, they let their residents off, but the visitors have to pay. Anyway, so this was the Russell's 8-year, 70th anniversary. Number 7, 6, 7, or 8, I don't know, in Whiskey Advocate magazine, but the number 2 Kentucky bourbon in there. Picked it up at the auction for 70 bucks. So I don't know what the MSRP was. I paid 70 for this, but I've got a second bottle on the
I was
shelf
about to
over
say, I
there,
think you got another one.
and I found it at a little liquor store in Carlisle, Kentucky for $59.99. So
Carlisle for the win.
so I'd say $59.99 is probably the MSRP. I don't know, but it's getting close. So the third one we had was the J. Maddenley 1845. Now J. Maddenley 1845, it's a 6-year-old Kentucky bourbon.
This one intrigued me. That's why I picked it.
You did pick it, and this one is from a small distillery, and I'm sure everybody's heard of Buffalo Trace. This is right across the road from Buffalo Trace. All right,
It gets
so
overlooked so much.
so we were at Buffalo Trace, and we were coming out to the stoplight to turn to go home, and it said, "Hey, more bourbon this way." And I said, "Do you want to go?" And my wife said, "Yeah." And so we went, and we went to J. Manley,
I
and
think it's probably more like, ugh.
no, she was cool with it. But it's a cool little place. I went in there and I met these guys. I think it is the guys that make this. I don't think it's a whole lot of employees. And the guy was really cool with me. They have a tasting and a beautiful tasting area, a lounge area there, a gift shop that's wonderful. We did not do the tour, but we went in there and experienced all that stuff. I did do a tasting. It was $20 for a bunch of different bottles. And I said, man, I'm just interested in the bourbons. I'm not interested in the rye or the whiskeys. I'm just interested in bourbon. And he said, well, come here. He said, if you drink a lot of it, we'll charge you 20. If you don't drink hardly any, you just come here and sample it. And me and my wife went back there and sampled it. And I don't know how
Made
many
out
we
like a
ended up.
champ.
It was more than we probably should have had at a sampling, and he didn't even charge us for it. Although I did buy 3 bottles of bourbon that day, so
You
from him.
got charged for it, just in a different way.
But the J. Maddenley, I think the double staved 6-year-old, I think it goes for about $120. We got this at the distillery. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll give you some proofs. This was 119 proof. This is 101 proof.
They were all stiff as far as proofage goes.
This is 111 proof. Now, when I do a tasting, I usually go from the lowest proof to the highest, just because you get your palate acclimated a little bit more. And that's how they do it every tasting I've been to. So that's kind of how I still do it. But they didn't know what bottles I had first. And actually, we started with this one, and it was 101 proof. And when we started, everybody swore it was 120 or higher.
I disagreed.
You were the only one.
I didn't get a whole lot of burn out of it.
They thought this drank a whole lot stouter than 101 proof, and they were kind of surprised by it at the end. So now this was my choice, and maybe not many people here of Legion. This is the Yamasaki cask finish blend. Uh, I was very intrigued about this bottle. I actually got it at the auction for about $100, which I thought was great, fantastic, because I haven't seen it in a store for less than $229. So I was very pleased, and I actually bought 2 bottles of it because
you
I
have
thought I
another
was
one?
going to do some Willing and Dillon with this bottle, but the Willing and Dillon fell through. So I've got 2 bottles, one open, one unopened.
Beautiful bottle and cork. You took this one?
Yes. Now Legion is
It's
made
dead.
by Jim Beam. So, of course, Michter's, Wild Turkey, Jay Madley, these are self-explanatory. Legion is a Jim Beam product, okay? So that's made by Jim Beam. So we've got 4 different distilleries. And the last one, I'm doing a lot of talking. Do you want to tell them about the
I
last
don't
one?
know much about them.
Okay.
You know the background because you set up the
I do, and
tasting.
I did it. All right, so this is Lux Row Distillery. This is their 12-year-old double-barreled bourbon. It is so 12 years. I think it's the oldest one out of the ones that we've had here. Lux Row, this one was $189 at the distillery. This is a distillery exclusive.
Did you say the yearage on this one, or did we
I
know the
didn't.
year?
Does it have a year?
I don't know.
I don't think it does.
Mm,
I think what I read about it, it was about
no
a
year.
6 year. What was the proof on that one? Because I didn't do that.
114.
So 114. So this one here is the 12-year-old. It's 118.4 proof. Lux Row
He he does the
Distillery
talking and you do the drinking. Cheers. Hey, cheers. Cheers. What a Friday
Distillery
night pour.
exclusive. Now, all you viewers, everybody watching, if you tune in later on the archive video, go ahead and make your guess as to which one won. And then we'll tell you which one our winner was. And then if it's different than the overall winner, we'll explain that too.
And if you haven't already, guys, make sure to drop a like. Share
Please
it with your
drop some
friends.
likes. Yeah.
Get some chatters in here, guys. The more the merrier.
We get some views. We don't get a lot of likes and don't get hardly any shares, but if y'all do that for us, it may help us out a little bit. Anyway, so let's go down through here. You picked this one to be in there. I picked this one to be in there. What one did you like the best out of those?
Rank this one the highest. Like we said, all the rankings for all of these, they were all good, but we had to be so strict with our rankings when we actually tasted them. They were all within a star/star and a half of one another.
Yeah, they were all really close.
There was no blowouts or anything.
So
But I
what we
had this
did,
one as my
everybody
favorite.
had a ranking sheet, and here's an example of a ranking sheet. Let me get this out of here. That's an actual. Oh, that's for our
Yeah.
$10 bourbons that we did. But that's the ranking sheet, and it has 4 different categories, and we ranked them by stars. And I accepted half stars because I think I started it.
I don't. Whatever.
But anyway, so everybody went through and they graded this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then at the end, everybody had their favorite because when they graded it, if this one had 18 stars and this one had 17, of course, this one was better.
Yep.
All right, so that's just an example, guys. But we all put a grading system on them. Then we added up our scores and totaled them up, and we had a winner, an overall winner. But each person's individual winner may have been different. But the overall winner was there. The overall winner gets and a trophy, and that's the one that we're going to taste tonight and do a tasting of. So we'll talk about which one was our favorite. Then we'll talk about the overall winner. But if you want to go ahead and grab a glass, you've seen all the bourbons that we have here. If you have one, crack open that bottle, pour you a glass, get you a drink, sit back and relax and chill with us, and give us cheers, right? Just cheers.
Here.
Cheers that thing. And we'll go through and tell you a little bit more, and then we'll get into our tasting of the winter. And it surprised me. And when I went to it, I knew it was going to be surprising.
Well, I let myself down because, spoiler alert, I did not pick the one that I picked to be in the tasting as my winner.
You picked
I picked this one.
Yes.
So my order actually went first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
All right.
So I was surprised that I picked this one to be first, the Yamasaki or the Yamazaki or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, sounds like a motorcycle.
One of the other guys in the tasting with us actually pointed out that I must just have expensive taste because I actually went from most expensive to least expensive, I think.
MSRP wise.
Yeah. MSRP in the order. So first, second.
You got your mother's taste.
Yeah. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Like I said, all of them were good, but that was my order. And what did you?
So mine, my pick to be in it was the one you actually chose.
Yeah.
All right. So my pick actually had someone choose it as a winner, but the one I chose is this one. So I like the Jimmy Russell 70th anniversary, the 8-year-old Wild Turkey, 101 proof. It drank.
Well, we can trust his opinion though, guys, because he knew what all the bourbons were. We were blind.
I did know, but they were all. I was unbiased by
He
this.
was looking at that whiskey.
I mean, you look at this. This is the least expensive bottle up here, and that's the one I chose. So, just saying.
We'll see.
All right. So this was my favorite.
Quit turning it.
Well, sorry, is it crooked?
Yes.
Can't see the screen. Anyway,
I don't have to see the screen.
This was my favorite. It was not my choice. This was my choice to be in there. But I went 1, 2. I think I went 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I may have went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know.
You did have cheap taste.
It was somewhere in there.
Cheap taste.
I don't have cheap taste. I have really good taste.
You put the 3 highest at the end.
It ain't about price. It's about taste and quality. So just so you know, you're the only one that picked this as a winner, and someone else picked this as their winner. So there was 2 people to pick this one as their winner. One person picked this one as their winner, and 2 people picked this one as their winner. So 3 bottles had winners. The other 2 bottles didn't have a winner, but they still got graded into the thing. So do you remember how they finished? And you can tell them our winner. We'll give it a trophy, and then we'll taste it.
I know the winner. I don't know overalls.
Okay.
Total wise.
So if I remember correctly.
Oh, goodness.
And
we ain't got a note written down here anywhere.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me know if I'm right. I know you're probably watching out there, brother. So let me know if I'm right.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give us a little help.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Because funny story, his brother was part of the tasting, and I think overall winner wise,
they went in order.
What he picked on his ranking sheet.
It was the same as his order, so he had them dead order.
He should know them by heart by now.
But anyway, he may not be watching.
So our overall winner was the one that I actually
entered.
He said, "Nope, hold on." All right, so we hold on. We got to do a fact check.
So the fact of the matter, we know this one won.
This one definitely won.
That one won.
I think this one was second. But we're gonna get a fact check here.
We're gonna get a fact check on the winners. But ta-da! This one definitely got a trophy.
One definitely got first
and
place.
This one is the one we're winning. I don't know what that's.
This one's the one we're winning?
I mean, this is the one we're tasting tonight.
We're winning!
So I'll get some bottles ready, and I may go ahead and start a pour while we wait. So the winner, J. Mattingly, 1845. I'm going to tell you a little bit of history about J. Mattingly.
Once again, they were all very good. And you will not be disappointed in any of these bottles.
We enjoyed them all. Like I said, there was 3 different bottles that won.
Mattingly, Legion, Wild Turkey, Lux Row, Michener's.
Okay. So the order was Mattingly.
Victor, sorry.
Mattingly, Legion.
Mattingly, Legion, Wild Turkey, Lux Row, Michener's.
All right. So
Michter's.
Oh, it's Michter's. What can I have? 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's that way.
So we had.
So I'm gonna tell you,
we had 1, 2, right?
This one finished last in the tasting, and this is an incredible bottle.
Thank you for that clarification because I didn't
Yes.
remember. I knew who won
Michter's
overall.
Barrel Proof, incredible. Buy this bottle again. It was released at the distillery the day we got it. It was last place. That just tells you how good these other bottles
They
are.
were all very good.
It
Yeah,
tells you how good the other bottles are.
we were ranking very, very, very strict. We had to because we knew that they were high quality bourbons. So I mean, we had to. I had to give it the 1-2.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these other bottles off the shelf. We're gonna do a tasting, but before we do our tasting, I'm gonna tell you just a little bit about J. Manley 1845. So J. Manley 1845, the history, if you don't know it, we'll go back all the way to 1845, where John Manley opened a distillery in Louisville, Kentucky.
Is that when you were born?
Yeah, sure. Actually, distillery number 2. So John Manley opened a distillery, and you know the information I found about distillery number 2 and John Manley's bourbon? Zilch. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. Maybe I didn't look at the right places, but I found no history other than it started in 1845, and he opened a distillery in Louisville, Kentucky, distillery number 2.
Well, we could have
So,
figured that out from the bottle, I
yes,
guess.
I guess you can. Maybe that's where I got all my info. But
Probably.
so anyway, in 2010, Jeff Manley, which is the 6th generation descendant of John, who started in 1845, they opened the Bourbon 30 distillery in Georgetown, Kentucky. Now, Bourbon 30, we have a bottle, but it's not a Kentucky bourbon,
Should
okay?
we
So
show it?
you can show it, but we'll never taste it on the show.
This,
Uh,
well, there's a gray area between this bottle. That's why we're saying it's not a Kentucky bourbon. There's a gray area, but this
the
is,
gray area is because this bourbon is sourced
I don't know if
with,
you can see it.
I didn't clean that bottle. It's probably got fingerprints all
Oh,
over it.
it's been drank. We're trying to get rid of it because
It's
we
not a
will,
Kentucky bourbon.
we will replace this bottle with one
That
that is
is,
a Kentucky
well,
bourbon.
that is sourced with
Uh-oh.
bourbons from Kentucky or barrels from Kentucky and Indiana. They're mixed together. That's what Bourbon 30 was made with. Okay. So that was in 2010.
They, of course, have their own distillery
Yeah.
here locally.
That was in 2010 in Georgetown, Kentucky. Now, they sourced the barrels. They made the Bourbon 30. They had that. Well, in 2023, so not that long ago,
Very recent.
2023, they changed the name of the distillery to J. Manley. All right. And they moved to Frankfort, right across from Buffalo Trace. And they made the 1845 bourbon, and it is their flagship bourbon now. Now, the 1845 bourbon is all Kentucky bourbon. They aged that 6 years. And if you all don't know what the double staved is, I'm going to tell you. So, what they do. So, at the time I bought
Listen up.
this is batch number 1. I could not honestly tell you if this was distilled at their new distillery or if they sourced these barrels. Uh, but I do know a lot of the barrels they sourced because I talked to those guys was from Green River. Right now, did they buy Green River bourbon and make it their own? I don't think so. I think Green River made their bourbon because they couldn't distill at the time because they gave them their mash bill. So it's 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. Okay. So that's the mash bill of this.
At least we actually know the mash bill of this.
And Green River produced it for them. Okay. So Green River produced that bourbon for them at the time. Now, maybe batch number 2 was actually distilled at J. Manley. I can't swear to that. I don't know that.
Don't
But
fact check us on
they
that.
have a distillery now. It's up and running. So I'm guessing from here on, they're going to be distilling their own bourbon and not having it sourced. Uh, and I don't know if this one was distilled there or if it was sourced, but this is their batch 1 bourbon. I did get it at the distillery, and it's very good. Uh, but as far as double staving goes, what they do is they take their barrel of bourbon as it's aging, they drop new staves.
What?
They drop new staves in the barrel. Uh, They don't say how many, that's a classified secret, but they drop them down in the barrel so that bourbon that's aging in that barrel doesn't just age on the sides, it gets it in the middle too. A lot of people finish by aging their stuff with new staves. So Maker's Mark is a big one. They have a stave finished bourbon out right now, big line of it, and tells you how many of each different stave. I think,
Girl, is that what I called you at the liquor store about that one night?
yes.
Is that collection? Okay.
Yeah, and what they do is they open the bung hole and they put the staves in there. It's in a little mesh thing, and it soaks it all up, and it ages that bourbon a little bit longer and gets a little bit different flavors on there.
This is a PG show.
Jay Maddenley, they open the bung hole, they put the staves in, and then they let it age, I believe, 6 years with those staves in there. So I think that's the difference in what makes theirs. It, it kind of gives it an extra aging process. So they got a 6 year bourbon. To me, it drinks more like a 10 or 12 year bourbon.
Oh, we're that experienced now that we can compare how it is to drink a 6 year to a 12 year.
I liked it better than a 12.
So maybe it's a 14.
Maybe.
This could be 23 years.
Don't call me out. Me and you will roll behind this bar.
Well, I'm not. I wanted to make sure that we were talking about you and not me, because I'm not.
So this is their flagship. Now they still have the Bourbon 30 because I bought it there too, but I'm not sure if they're still going to source it or if they're making it the J. Manley Distillery.
They better start making it, because I thought it was a pretty good bourbon.
That's all the. It is a good bourbon. I liked it.
Bourbon 30 was pretty good.
I wouldn't have bought it. He did tell me it was a Kentucky bourbon when I bought it, though.
We've been lied to, scammed,
So I did buy
ripped
it
off.
thinking it was a Kentucky bourbon. Later
Where was
found
this?
out J. Manley at the distillery.
They ripped us off.
Frankfurt. No, they didn't. I enjoyed it. All right, so here's the bottle we're trying today. 1845 J. Manley, 16 or 6 year old. Tastes like a 16-year-old bourbon.
I told you. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, so we'll do our official tasting. I'm gonna let you talk now.
I've had my little ad libs. I've been shooting jabs where they need me be.
But you get to walk us through the tasting.
Well, so as far as our tasting goes, guys, I don't know if you can see the color very well. I'm gonna try not to fingerprint up the glass. It's got a very nice, dark, rich color to it. That's probably
Double staving.
that's that double staving coming in. It looks a lot like double oaked Woodford as far as the color goes. But when we do our tasting, before I get into the sniffing more, because I've been doing it this whole time, but more sniffing. When we do our tasting, if you've never tuned in before, I'll walk you through it real quick. If you have tuned in before, then you already know what I'm going to say. First sip of every tasting that we do is going to be an acclimation sip, just to get rid of that burn, because this is a 114.
119.
119. It's a 119 proof, so
it was the highest proof.
It should have a little bit of kick to it, even for experienced bourbon drinkers. But you're acclimating yourself in that first sip. Second sip, you're doing the same thing, coating your tongue, holding it in there for about 5 seconds or so, swallow it. And then when you go to your third sip, that's where you're actually trying to pull out your flavors and how it tastes on your palate, and see if you can pull anything out of it. And then on the fourth sip that we do, even if we don't think that it needs it, we always add some distiller's water to it, just to see if it can change the profile. Once again, guys, distiller's water is nothing but purified water with no imperfections in it, no contaminants. It doesn't have any flavoring, doesn't add any flavoring to the bourbon, but it can change the profile. All right, so I'm going in for sip one.
What do you get on the nose? We didn't talk about the nose.
Caramely.
I get caramel, oak.
A lot oak.
No smoke. Do you want a glass?
So
our producer's going to share a glass with us.
If you haven't already, guys, I know we invited you earlier, but crack open yourself a bottle, your favorite bottle, or if you have one of these, if you got a thing of J. Mattingly, one of these back here on the shelf, if you got anything, we invite you to
I
crack
got
one open
another
with
bottle
us.
of J. Manley too. It's the Open Doors. So we'll probably do a show on that, just the tasting, not a history or nothing, because I couldn't really find any.
I'm getting oaky. I'm getting the oak. I'm getting maple and caramel. Even some floral notes.
All right. So the sweetness that I smell is a little bit different.
It is sweet.
Because I get the sweetness of like a powdered sugar donut.
Kinda walnuts.
Walnuts from our producer. I get powdered sugar, and I don't get that out of many bourbons.
ASMR.
That's how he does it every time, guys.
Every time. I hold the mic up directly to my nose.
I get powdered sugar. I get some oak and caramel in there, but The powdered sugar stands out, which is pretty incredible to me.
I'm going in for sip one. I think they've had enough of me shoving a glass in my face. You know, it doesn't have a whole lot of bite for 119 proof.
119 drinks really smooth.
That's wild. I don't even remember it being that smooth in the tasting.
I do, but we had 4 others in front of it, so I just thought I was acclimated.
I mean,
I thought I was real acclimated. So
one thing I did like about this past tasting. I don't think anyone. What was our fourth one that we tasted?
the fourth one was the Lux Row, 118 proof.
I was just happy to know that the last one that I tasted wasn't my highest ranked, because that would mean that my opinion was probably skewed.
2 people picked the last one we tasted as their highest rank.
Ooh, what was it?
It won. That was this one.
Oh,
This was the last one we
I think their
tasted.
opinion was skewed. All right, that was sip one. I'm going for sip two. Hmm.
Do you need another little splash?
I mean, just a splash.
My goodness. No burn on the second one at
No,
all.
it's smooth.
You taste some baking spices in there, but it's not spicy as hot.
No, but I'm not supposed to be tasting it yet, but I'm getting
I know.
some savory seasonings kind of notes.
I'll give you enough so we can get some water in there.
No, we've only done two.
You see mine compared to yours.
I think you poured yourself more than what you did the first time around.
I did. I was measuring it the first time. The second time, I was measuring it more. All right, third one. This is the judging round, right?
I barely had enough to coat my tongue.
I gave you almost another quarter ounce. That's a half ounce total.
I got a big mouth. Um, Daddy rules. That's crazy. That's outrageous. I take back my
You got
thank
enough
you.
to put water in now. All right. So what are you getting on the?
It's very savory on the palate. Very sweet on the nose, but I'm not getting sweetness. Uh, I'm getting a lot of savory notes. I'm getting almost like pulled pork.
Like maybe the barbecue with it, maybe a little sweet
Maybe
barbecue.
it's smoky.
What I get is I get some sweetness, but it's not a sugar sweet. It's a oaky sweet.
I mean,
I get some sweet oak kind of barrel things.
I am getting a little bit of fruitiness. The sweetness is gone on the palate. The sweetness is gone. I'm getting a little bit of cherry flavor, a lot of smokiness still, and it's all savory on the palate.
Cherries and plums, very good. Cinnamon toast. Our producer says cinnamon toast. But I get a sweet oak, like I don't know.
Sap. Is sap sweet?
I don't know. Uh, it kind of it kind of I don't know if anybody remembers these, but sometimes you went to a restaurant and you'd get a toothpick and it had a little bit of sweetness on it, and it was minty. I don't have mint. I just have sweet, but it's that sweet oakiness. I think it's pretty incredible actually. And then I love cherry when I get the cherry flavor, and I get that cherry with this, and I get a little bit of chocolate, so it's almost like chocolate covered cherries and sweet oak, but it all blends really well.
Man, I haven't been this far off from you in a while.
No,
I mean,
well,
I'm in left field compared to you all.
you're very savory. I get sweet, but
See, I don't even remember it being this savory when I had it last, and I don't have anything on my palate that would, I mean, skew the taste at all. Let me
it's good. It finishes with a little bit of kind of like black pepper or something. You get walnuts and bananas. I don't. I get the cherry and maybe some plum
Mm.
when you add water. And
It's really sweet when you add the water.
I'm excited about adding water then because it's pretty daggone good.
Oh my goodness! There's your powdered donut or your Powdered sugar. Whew. It tastes like did you ever have Rice Krispies and you put sugar in it, but all the sugar fell to the bottom?
And then you get
That's what it tasted
you get
like.
that spoonful of sugar,
And that's it.
milk, and a little bit of rice. Oh gosh,
Milk and sugar. I mean, that's
you
it.
don't get the milk with this, of course, but the sugar's excellent.
Wow. Oh,
That's delicious.
what did you? Is it sweeter for you?
It's sweeter for
Oh my
me.
goodness.
It just enhanced those sweet flavors that I was getting. I still get the cherry and the sweet oak. Uh, man, it's good.
It's good.
It's real good. It's a very good bourbon. I would suggest everybody getting this. I went to J. Maddenley online today and did a little bit of research. They're having a sale on this because evidently some magazine article or something wrote them up and gave them a 99.5 out of 100. So they're celebrating by making this bottle $99.50. So it was 120, now it's $99.50. So if you want a bottle, you can order it online at J. Maddenley right
Dang
now.
it! They should have ranked them a 7.
They wouldn't have celebrated then.
Maybe. I mean, they got recognized for something. It might not have been the best.
That is a bourbon. That is a bourbon deserving of winning or tasting. But I will tell you this: any of the 5 could have won because they were all incredible.
They were all very good.
They were all really good bourbons.
Get them back. Get them back up here for everyone to see if they're just now tuning in.
So all really good bourbons, guys. They were delicious. Every one of them got good scores. Jay Manley won. We'll put the trophy here. Let's put the trophy on.
It fits.
Yeah,
it was meant for it to win. Actually, no, it would have been more meant for. Look at that. If that ain't meant to win, I don't know what is.
That one got.
It literally is the size of the base of the trophy.
It got second. It would have to have a little bitty trophy.
We got one.
Here, we'll give it a upside down. Second place.
Runner up.
Second place for that one. So first place, second place. All right, guys. How much are we looking on time? We're looking real good on time. Minutes. We're looking good on time. So I want to tell y'all something else. So we've done our tasting. We've done our show about March's tasting recap.
If you haven't had the opportunity to try any of these, highly recommend it.
Had a fantastic time with that tasting, right?
Always do.
Let me tell you about next week. And I'm not going to tell you about our show that we're going to do, but I'm going to tell you about a special event. Babe, will you grab that bottle behind you? So next week is this young man right here. It's his birthday. We're going to be celebrating. We're going to be doing some fun things. But then guess
it's not my birthday yet. It's my birthday celebration.
It's your birthday celebration. And guess what we're going to open and drink? Van Winkle, 12-year-old, Lot B. So we got the family coming over. Brother, if you're watching this, it sounds like everybody in the family wants a drink of it. So
is it in the frame?
I think it is. Yeah, it's good in the frame. So anyway, we're going to be drinking that, and when we open it, we're going to drink it till the bottle's gone. So
I don't like holding.
Guys, the only disappointing thing is there won't be a show on this because it's going to be drunk and gone by the time we celebrate a young man's birthday and just the event of getting a Van Winkle 12-year.
Our first and only Pappy so far in the Bourbon Basement. It was a joint effort to get.
It was. We split the cost between me and my brother because we wanted one so bad, and we got a 12-year instead of the 10 because we got a pretty good deal on it. Of course, we'll never get MSRP. I don't know how that happens unless you're lucky enough to win a lottery or one of those things that comes around.
And some people around here that have won them.
I know, but anyway, still going for the 15, the 20, and the 23, and the 10. We're going to have them all. And at one time, I'm going to have every one of the empty bottles that we drink on our shelf, from the 10 to the 23.
Until we get another bottle to replace the empty one of one kind.
It's going to be empty on our shelf. I don't know that we'll ever get another bottle. We've never tried it. We may think, ain't worth it.
You can get another bottle. It's just a matter of paying out the high.
You got to pay. Anyway, this bottle's going to be cracked on the 15th, guys. We're going to enjoy and drink, and it's going to be empty, and then it's going to be a decoration on my shelf. Like I said, here at the Bourbon Basement, I do collect bourbon, and if that camera was spun around, I have a lot of bottles that way that are decorative right now, but they will be drunk. All these bottles back here are open right now. They will be drunk.
You can't.
And I'm not saying anything.
We've got some right up here in the windowsill.
They haven't been open yet. I have more unopened bottles than I do open bottles.
We've got more shelves over here. Like, I mean, if you follow us on TikTok or YouTube Shorts. If you watch any of those, or on Facebook, you can see the behind the scenes stuff like that. So if you haven't already, go follow us on some of that. Same name as YouTube, the Bourbon Basement, no spaces.
You want to wrap it up?
No, I was just saying you can see behind the scenes stuff like that on our social media.
Another thing I wanted to mention. So we've been doing a series. We started with $0 to $10 bourbons on the shelf. We had a viewer suggest, well, hey, what's the best $10 bourbon that you can buy?
You can watch that video on our channel.
We are going to do those YouTube or videos. They are going to be posted in the video section. The first one we did has already been done. We picked our best $10 bourbon. I just went to Walmart.
$10 Kentucky.
Yes, sorry, $10. Thank you for that clarification. Anyway, went to Walmart and picked up all the ones that was under $10. This week we're going to put one out that's going to be $10 to $15 bourbons, or 10.01 to $15 bourbons, and we'll do that one and we'll pick our favorite. Then we'll go 15 to 20 on maybe the next week, and then the next week, so it'll be a month long. We'll do the winner of all those combined, so you'll know which one is the best under.
And see if the $10 one can even compare to the $30 one. 20,
yeah,
25,
and 20. We're only going to 20. Once you get above 20, there's a bunch of bourbons for $20. So, but we keep it under that 20. That guy wanted to know, and we're going to let him know our opinion. I'm just going to Walmart though, so you may go to Total Wine or Liquor Barn. You may find a bottle that fits in one of those categories that I didn't have. If you want to leave us a comment, we'll try to get that one worked in to see if we can compare it to the one that we think won, to see if it's better or not.
We try to be very accommodating here in the Bourbon Basement.
Oh yeah, and we like comments. We like some back and forthness. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. So be sure to check out our lives, our archive lives, our videos, and our shorts, because shorts kind of shows you what bottles that we may have purchased in a week and got in the Bourbon Basement. Just little updates. You may see more of the Bourbon Basement that you don't see behind the bar here. Just little things are our shorts are about. So anyway, why don't we wrap it up now? I feel like I'm rambling, and my producer is telling me I'm rambling. So let's get on out of here.
Slightly, but it is what it is.
I just like
another side note, guys. If anyone's got the hookup on Eagle Rare 17, or Eagle Rare double Eagle Very Rare, I think is the name of it.
We'll never get that.
We'll have it.
No, let's go with Eagle Rare 17. That's our next one. It's over $1,000 a bottle right now.
We'll get the other one. Hook us up, guys. We're also looking for sponsors. Total Wine, Liquor Barn, hit us up. I think that we deserve it by now. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all giving us a little bit of time out of your day to join in. Appreciate the people that have chatted, giving us someone to talk to. Thank you again, Gene Boy, for the fact check on our standings, because we would have had to look through a jumbled mess down here to find the actual.
He's got his card, so.
But see, easy
he wouldn't have found it.
So he's got the hookup on that. Once again, guys, if you hadn't had the opportunity to try any of these bottles yet, highly recommend that you do. I don't think you'll be disappointed in
every
any
one of them.
If you can find them for a good price, I know that a couple of these are a little on the higher end range, but sometimes you get lucky. We've gotten lucky on a couple of these, or gotten good deals. Yes, this one specifically, but I don't think we even ranked RJ Mattingly. I give it like an 8.2.
Stars, okay. I'd go with an 8. But we had different flavor tastings, but we still gave it a pretty close score.
I don't think that it's beginner friendly just because of the price range, but if you're wanting to step up, I think it's very smooth for a 119 proof, guys. If you're wanting something that'll get you a buzz pretty quick, with not a whole lot of after effect in your mouth, then I think that might be your go-to. Like I said, a little higher end, not really beginner friendly, but definitely something to look into if you're looking for a step up, because it is a very good drinker.
Or if you just want to try a small distillery, it's a great one to try.
It's very good. But anyway, guys, like I said, you won't be disappointed in any of these. Zeke, appreciate the bomb, sir. Appreciate you tuning in. Don't think that you'll be disappointed once again. If you haven't already, follow us on TikTok, the Bourbon Basement, no spaces. The same name on Facebook if you'd like to follow us on there. Or if you haven't already subscribed to the Bourbon Basement here on YouTube, drop a sub. We'd love to have you. Every subscription counts, and we love the activity here when we're actually live. All that being said, guys, we will see you all Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everything's going to work out?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd
So
be great.
Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, appreciate you giving us a little bit of time out of your day. And as always, guys, why drink alone?
And you can drink with us.
We'll see y'all.
Hey, can I have a hug?
No.
I'll just settle for another warm Kentucky hug. I'm going to go with 12 this wild turkey. Cheers.